Okay, I'm actually really excited about writing these next couple weeks because it's going to be a fun project to do. So before we get to that, we wanted to talk about commas. And what does a comma look like before we even start? What does a comma look like? Yeah, it's kind of like a curve on the bottom, right? And it goes after a word. Kind of looks like an apostrophe. So apostrophes go at the top, commas go at the bottom. So there are different times that you use commas. We're going to talk about those different times. All right, as I sit here editing my report, I've decided something. Commas are a lot like dogs. Would you care to guess what I mean by that? Just as there are tons of dog breeds in the world, so there's different types of dogs, there are also tons of comma rules that must be memorized. Okay? You're going to use a comma when you write a date. So you use a comma after the date. Use a comma when you list items in a series. Use a comma before coordinating conjunctions. Use a comma when you write the opening or closing of a letter. Use a comma when you write an address, tag questions, introductory elements, and address another person. And we'll only talk about a few of those. All right. All right, today, my friends and their dogs are going to list the various common rules for you. They will start with some of the simpler rules and progress to the more complex rules. All right, so the first rule, dates. Use a comma to separate the day of the month from the year. Okay, this is something you should already know, right? You put the comma, so if today, that's pretty close, October 25th, comma, 2009. So you, after the date, you put the comma, and then you put the year. April 10th, comma, 2010. July 4th, comma, 1776. Anybody know what that day is? Other than the 4th of July? That year is important. Yeah, that was the day that we were officially independent country in 1776. All right. All right. If you include the day of the week, use a comma between the day of the week and the month as well. So if I said, well, today is Saturday, April 10th, 2010, we would put a comma after Saturday, and you put a comma after the 10th. Today is Tuesday, comma, July 4th, comma, 1776. When the date appears in the middle of a sentence, commas should appear both before and after the year. Okay. On Saturday, comma, April 10th, 2010, comma, my sister was born. All right. Let me keep going. Words in a series. This is when you're listing things. Use a comma to separate a series of words, phrases, or independent clauses. Okay, so my best friends are Natalie, Alma, and Zoe. So that person was listing their best friends, Natalie, Alma, and Zoe. So after every single friend, they put a comma. Natalie, comma, Alma, comma, and Zoe. That's listing things. In this example, the writer is using the comma to separate words, so separating the names of the people. Okay, so the next one that you would separate is phrases. Abby's chores include cleaning her room, comma, taking out the garbage, comma, and washing the dishes. So they listed three things, or three of the chores that Abby does. Okay, so those are phrases, not just names, like one word names. And independent clauses. So mom's birthday is in June, dad's birthday is in July, and my birthday is in August. So it's still kind of like they're listing the whose birthday it is and when. Okay, that's what it means by independent clauses. It's kind of, you're still just listing things. So mom's birthday is in June, dad's birthday is in July, and my birthday is in August. All right, use a comma in the greeting and closing of a friendly letter. You learned this in 3rd grade. Dear Grandma, comma. Sincerely, comma, Travis. So at the end of the letter, when you're writing your name, it goes after your closing, and it goes after your heading, Dear Grandma. Okay. All right, use comma to separate geographic elements like cities and states. Okay. So if we were going to go to Dallas, Texas, we wouldn't just say Dallas, Texas, we'd say Dallas, comma, Texas. If I'm reading a sentence or a phrase or something like that that has a comma in it, what's it going to sound like? When there's a period, I pause. When there's an exclamation mark, I sound excited. What does a comma sound like when you're reading it? Yeah, it's a really quick pause. So you're not just saying you're not like a robot saying the words. You kind of pause for a second when you see the comma. So Dallas, Texas, not Dallas, Texas. Dallas, Texas. Paris, France. So it goes between the city and state. Okay, when the geographic elements are found in the middle of a sentence, the final location should be followed by a comma. Okay, so here's the sentence. We moved from Buffalo, New York to Phoenix, Arizona when I was 6 years old. Okay, so of course we're going to have a comma between the city of Buffalo, that's a city, in New York. So we have our comma between the city and the state, comma, to Phoenix, that's the city, comma, state, Arizona, comma. So it's in the middle of a sentence. So that's why there's those commas right there, those blue ones. All right, use a comma to set off a tag question. So that means that it's a question at the end. So you're saying something normal at the beginning of the sentence, and then you're asking the question at the end of the sentence. We're going to be late, aren't we? So the comma goes after late because the question, aren't we, is at the end. Okay, aren't we is not connected. It's not the same. Like the we are going to be late is not a question, right? They're just stating the fact. We are going to be late, aren't we? So the question, aren't we, goes after the comma. This is going to be our last practice, right? So the comma goes right before the question. You forgot to add salt, didn't you? Your dog doesn't bite, does it? Okay. Introductory words in a sentence. Okay, introductory words can refer to yes and no. Okay, not just yes and no. They kind of mean the same thing as yes and no. So yes, comma, you may borrow my pencil, or no, comma, I'm not going to share my soda with you. Okay, so it's like you're answering a question. Interjections. Does anybody know what an interjection is? Okay. Hey, can I catch a ride to the mall? Anybody know what any guesses on which one of those words is an interjection? Hey, yeah, it's hey. Okay, ouch, I just got a paper cut on my finger. Which one of those words is the interjection? Ouch, yeah. Hey and ouch are interjections. So there's going to be a comma after those. So interjections are they show being excited and they show emotions. So like hey, like excited, or ouch, that's an emotion. Transition words. You know what a transition word is because we talked about those and you put them in your writing, right? First, preheat the oven. Which one of those words is a transition word? First, good. And clearly, dogs make the best pets. Clearly, yeah. So you're going to put a comma after those words. First and clearly, your transition words. All right. Hey, let's make sure our mics are muted, please. Miranda, mute your mic for me. Okay. Okay. Use a comma to indicate that you are directly addressing a person. Mom, do you mind if I eat this last cupcake? So after you say the person's name, you put a comma. Okay, so if you say it out loud, Mom, do you mind if I eat this last cupcake? Okay, it sounds kind of like a robot if you say it like, Mom, do you mind if I eat the last cupcake? But if you put the comma in there, you say, Mom, do you mind if I eat the last cupcake? You're kind of giving Mom a second to listen to you, right? I have been sick for 5 days, Dr. Jones. So who are you telling, or who is this person telling that they've been sick? Dr. Jones, yeah. All right. Compound sentences. This one's super important because this is where you'll see a lot of commas and not a lot of commas. You'll see a lot of compound sentences and it can get confusing. Miranda, will you please just keep your mic off for me? You got a lot of background noise going on. Okay. We lost one of our games, but we still won the tournament. A compound sentence is when there are two sentences put together to form one sentence. So we could make that compound sentence into two sentences. We lost one of our games, period. We still won the tournament, period. It would make sense to put them into two sentences, but that person put it together and put what word in there to connect them. Yeah, we lost one of our games, comma, but we still won the tournament. So that comma goes before that connecting word, but. A compound sentence, okay, we just talked about that. All right, conjunctions. Conjunctions connect things. So but is a conjunction. It connected those two things. So if you think about the word fanboys, okay, say fanboys. Say it again. Say it in a silly voice. Okay, fanboys. That's going to help you remember what some of the conjunctions are. So F can stand for for. A stands for and. N stands for nor. So what does F stand for? What does A stand for? What about N? Good. All right. So for and nor. B stands for but. O stands for or. Y stands for what? Yet. And S stands for, any guesses? It's 2 letters. Good, Braylon. Yeah. So, okay, so what does B stand for? O, Y, S. Okay, good. For and nor, but, or, yet, so. Those are all very common conjunctions that you'll see. And when you see those conjunctions, you're going to think, okay, there probably is going to be a comma that comes before this word. Okay. Okay. So a comma is always going to go before the conjunction. We just kind of talked about that. Mom's car had a flat tire, so we missed the first half of the play. What's the conjunction in that word? Nope, not a comma. What is the conjunction? So is our conjunction. It's connected. So remember fanboys? The S standard for so. Okay, so the comma is going to go before the conjunction, so it goes before so. And there it is, it's right. All right. All right. You're just going to work on a comma. You have a comma like practice, and then you have a comma quiz. I posted on Google Classroom. I posted a like a review of commas, like the rules of putting commas in a sentence, so you can use that to help you fill out your quiz. Okay, so just look at your review. Okay. Yes, you can print it. Yes. Okay. In 4th grade at Vincent, I don't know about Elvin Hill, but the Elvin Hill people are doing what Vincent people are doing. So y'all get to be Vincent people until you go back. At Vincent in 4th grade, we do something every year. Can any of the Vincent people remember what we do every year? You can't just read my screen. You came and you come to the 4th grade hall and you visit us and you walk up to a person. They're dressed up. Do you remember? Okay, it's the Living History Museum. Okay, it's the Living History Museum. So what we do with the Living History Museum is every 4th grader chooses a person who is famous that's from Alabama, and they will research about that famous Alabamian, and then we'll write a speech. And then on the day of the Living History Museum, you will, well, I'll tell you about virtual, but if we were normally in school, you would dress up as your famous Alabamian. So you'd wear what they would wear if they were still alive, or if they were here today, you dress up like them. And the other like parents and grandparents and people from our school come up to you, and you have like a button on your shoulder, and they will press that button, and then it's like you come to life and you say your speech, and then once you're done with your speech, you like freeze again like a statue. So it's like a museum, and you come to life only when they press the button. Okay. Well, we had it last year, but that's okay. If you have a yearbook, there's pictures of it in the yearbook. Yeah, Kaylin. Well, if you want a grade, yeah. Yes. It's an assignment, and all parts of it are a grade. So the speech, the research, your costume, all of that is a grade. Okay. So we haven't really figured out how we're going to do it virtually this year. I don't know if I will put y'all up on the screen for other 4th graders to see, or if we'll just share with our group. But when it comes to the time where we're ready to do it, you'll dress up that day, and each person will go and say their speech, and they'll share with everybody else. And that's when I'll grade you. Okay. So the first step to that is choosing who you would like to research. So remember, these are only people who are from Alabama, the state of Alabama, and who are famous. And there are a good amount of people that are famous that are from Alabama. So here's a list of famous Alabamians, just a few. Okay, just because they're not on this list doesn't mean you can't do them. Okay, so if you know somebody who's famous that's from Alabama and they're not on this list, you can give their name to me, and then we'll see if you can do them, or do your project on them. All right, so here's some of the famous Alabamians: Channing Tatum, Mia Hamm, Rosa Parks, Lionel Richie, Jesse Owens, Hank Aaron, Helen Keller, Harper Lee, Courtney Cox, Charles Barkley, Tim Cook, Bo Jackson, Macy Jemison, Condoleezza Rice, Hank Williams Sr., Taylor Hicks, Evander Holyfield. Okay, so you are going to go to your template later this week. And under, let's see what day it says. Under Tuesday, it says, research these famous Alabamians and make your final choice of famous Alabamian. Fill out this form of your final decision. So when you click on this, it's going to take you straight to that page that I just showed you. So it's all of the options. Okay. So you need to go through that page and Google that person and see who they are, what they're famous for, whatever, and you decide if you would like to do your research on them or not. Okay. So once you've made your final decision, you're going to fill out this form. So click this. It'll send you to a Google form that says, which famous Alabamian would you like to choose for your project? These are all the people that are on that list I just showed you. And if you decide that there's nobody on that list you would like to research from Alabama and you found somebody else, you click other. And then down here, it says if you chose a famous Alabamian that was not on the list, type their name below and you would type their name right there. Okay. So if I didn't see that name on the list, I wanted to research Miss Braden, then I would type Miss Braden there. Okay. But Miss Braden really isn't a famous Alabamian yet. All right. Are there any questions about that? Huh? Yes, as long as they're from Alabama. All right. All right. If there is no questions, I will pull up your attendance. Here we go, since it's almost lunchtime. Here we go. Time to eat. Pick some ingredients for your burger. You can pick at least 2. And type it in. Oh, let me undo the chat box. Let me let you type. Okay. All right. Type in what you want on your burger. Then I will see y'all tomorrow. It's, well, I don't know exactly, but it's supposed to be around April 2nd. Yep.